Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. And thank you so much for joining me this evening on Talking Sip Saturday night. Talking Sip Saturday night, and I wish you all the best. And I want to thank those who are joining me on Facebook, those who are joining me on TikTok, those who are joining me also on YouTube and also Instagram. I want to thank you so much for joining this Saturday night, Saturday the 11th of the 5th. I must say that today has been a very hot day in the UK, much hotter than before, and also not raining. That I had to just capitalize on the moment and really do some gardening outside there. Uh, and just capitalizing on the whole thing. But tonight I want to talk about why is everyone going to Jamaica? Why is everyone going to Jamaica? But before we go there, this is Saturday night, and what's you gonna have to drink? Um, I'm actually thinking of drinking just fizzy water, or as they say, they call it crystal punch. Yeah, crystal punch. That is what I'm gonna have. Crystal punch and maybe a little wine later. And whatever you having also, please feel free to tell me what you're having as well. And and also I'm going to be joining tonight by David Chen. I'm hailing straight from Jamaica, taste of our culture, most definitely. And I'm going to also be joined by Mr. Patrick Morrison from Brokerage Limited. And let me just get that right. Let me. I like to get everything right as much as possible. Yeah, yeah. Let me see now. Getting all the facts properly. Yeah, yeah. Broker House Limited. Patrick Morrison, Broker House Limited, and uh, and of course Herbert Muscatel will be online. I think he's maybe not able to come on by face. And then I'm going to have Rudy Page. Rudy Page is going to be joining us later. Rudy Page, the key strategist guy out there in the place to be. But listen, in recent days, I was listening to in Jamaica about this plane load of persons who actually came to Jamaica. It was like a truckload or a trailer load of Indian guys on a plane. It's a German plane. I don't know the facts about it much as possible. I understand that they have left Jamaica now and they have gone back. But what is very crucial and what I wanted to sort of home in on is what was the reason? What was the rationale for them to go to Jamaica? What was the reason? What was the rationale for them to go to Jamaica? What was it? And then at the same time, I was thinking again and saying, hang on a second, hang on a second. A lot of people have been going to Jamaica of recent days. And we're not talking about family members like myself going down to meet to see my siblings and my mother of recent days, and guys like Patrick Morrison who goes down there to buy up all the lands in Jamaica as well down there. David Chen who decide to move back into Jamaica and take it over as well. Herbert and these guys just but they got all these different persons going into Jamaica, capitalizing in Jamaica, capitalizing on properties, capitalizing on investment, capitalizing on development. What is it? Is it the jewel of the isle, jewel of the Caribbean? What is it? Is it the oxtail? Is it the woman? Is it the men? What is it? What is it about Jamaica? But I know for sure that lots of people are capitalizing in Jamaica at the same time, and I think it is crucial and important. But I want to, but something I just want to tap into before I get into that as well. There was a recent thing by the Attorney General, Malahoo Fort. Malahoo Fort recently said that the constitutional reform, in regard to the constitutional reform, that they have reached a point where now they're able to make a recommendation. as to the type of what should I say, president that they want to have, and the type of president that the Constitution Reform Committee wants to have or making a proposal for is what do you call it? A non-executive president, more than like a GG. But also, what they're also not dealing with is the whole aspect of the Privy Council and the CCJ. And apparently, they're not going to touch the CCJ. And then Mark Golding now for the PNP, because some members are also on the committee, have said they're not going to sign that off until on the books or on the paper that you're going to remove the Privy Council and go for the CCJ. That's the Caribbean Court of Justice. But listen to this. I'll let this play first.
May 2024. Dear Prime Minister, in our brief meeting behind the Speaker's chair in Gordon House on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024, I indicated that the move away from the British monarch as our head of state should coincide with the move away from the British monarch's court in London to the Caribbean Court of Justice as Jamaica's final court of appeal, so as to achieve a seamless transition to full decolonization rather than a piecemeal, phased approach with no guarantee of its attainment. I pointed out that this is a very fundamental issue for us, and you indicated that you would consider the matter, have any necessary consultations, and let me know the government's position. Since then, the opposition's two representatives on the Constitutional Reform Committee, CRC, have indicated to me that the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs is anxious to have the CRC's report signed by the members of the CRC and taken to Cabinet. As you will appreciate, they attend the CRC in a representative capacity and cannot sign off on the report without first obtaining authority to do so. Accordingly, one of our representatives on the CRC, Anthony Hilton MP, indicated his reservation on a few issues and further advised the Minister of the need to share the draft report with me, in response to which the Minister indicated that he could make a copy available to me on a strictly embargoed basis of what appears to be a near final draft of the report. This very restrictive process has prevented the kind of fulsome internal consultations on important matters that is a normal practice within our party. Nevertheless, I have reviewed the final report and have indicated to our two representatives that they are not to sign it unless and until the issue referred to in my first paragraph above is resolved in a manner that will allow us to proceed with a bipartisan position embracing full decolonization as a unitary exercise. I have not heard from you yet on this matter and look forward to that so that we know where we stand. I also wish to advise you that there are some other issues of concern to the opposition in the draft report, and I will be sharing those concerns with the Minister via our two representatives. Assuming that the main issue referred to in this letter can be overcome, we would want those issues to be further discussed and hopefully agreed before the report is finalized. Yours truly, Mark Golding.
Okay, so right there, what we are seeing is the opposition party, Mark Golding, actually coming out to say that there's no way that they're going to sign off with the present constitutional reform unless the Privy Council proposed to be removed and the Caribbean Court of Justice to be the final court of appeal or the apex court in Jamaica. I think this is a very crucial bit because it is very interesting at the same time. And think about it for a moment. If you're wanting to remove the King of England and wanting to remove the monarch from the head of state, because the head of state in Jamaica at present is the king, not the governor general, not the prime minister, but the King of England. So you want to remove the King of England, either with a executive or non-executive government, but then at the same time you want to retain the King's Court, which is the Privy Council. It's either you're going to go or not. For me personally, I always say that Jamaica is not independent. That's my personal view at the same time, because 1962 was a process of independence that started, but as long as you still have to be sworn allegiance to the king, sworn allegiance to England, then it doesn't add up in a sense, is it? I mean, what can I say? So therefore, the ultimate independence is when you become a republic. Ultimate independence is when you cut all the ties from the monarch, cut all the ties from the previous colonial masters, as far as I'm concerned, And the other thing I just wanted to flag up is that there was a diaspora demonstration in Miami recently with Captain Rupert Francis from the Diaspora Task Force with Will Rattigan and fellow Jamaicans in overseas, fellow members of Jamaican from within the diaspora have raised their voices and having their sort of grouse in a sense with the government. I personally believe that at the same time, all voices must contend. All voices must contend. Is not everybody think the same way, and therefore one cannot ostracize some for others. Some may say, well, they're not being patriotic. Some may say that they're actually aligned to the PNP, but I always say people always have affiliation, if anything, but they say they're not aligned to the People's National Party or any political party, but they have their issues in regards to accountability, according to transparency, according to corruption, according to crime in Jamaica, and they believe that it is not being addressed. So therefore, they held a second demonstration, and they're going to have a diaspora conference at the same time, while the other diaspora conference is taking place, which is going to be from June the 16th to the 19th. They're going to have theirs in the evening, virtual. The one in Jamaica by the conference center is going to be, first time after COVID in the house in Jamaica, live on Derek. I don't think it is a competition, personally. I think there are two different factors there, but they're all in one because the Jamaica diaspora is one. That's my say. Well, Patrick, what go on, sir? Did I catch you sleeping?
No, I was listening to what you were saying.
Yeah. So
catch it up with the latest news. That's happening. Yeah. So interesting.
Let us bring in David here as well. David, how are you, boss? I don't know if you're there or so. Let's see. Maybe he's not there as well. I'm gonna bring in Herbert. Herbert, are you there? I think you may be.
I'm here. Don't be thinking for me.
Family.
Yes, David, you're about. Herbert, you're about.
Yeah, man, they're about.
So I'm not seeing a picture. I'm not seeing a picture of you guys, man.
No. I'm remaining faceless this evening. I'm at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, Silburn. I just eat some food, Silburn.
Yeah, it's some food.
Silburn, I remember the caveman, man. Silburn, I remember the caveman. My man, I look at one of the Indian man, man.
Are you one of the Indian man that go to Jamaica?
Man, not Silburn. Please. Look at the caveman to Rastafari. How you do? How's everyone there? Everybody good?
We're good, my brother. We're good.
I'm good.
They're up on the plantation.
Well, you know what? That's what it's about, my brother. We have to do it.
That's right.
We have to do it. That's what we're here for. You know what I mean? We just know so we do the right thing and keep Jamaica name proud. Not care what they want about it.
Correct. That's correct.
Don't care what they want about it. Keep Jamaica name proud.
What do you guys think about this whole thing regarding that point which I raised about the constitution reform? We don't have to get into the depths of it, but the fact that you wanting to remove the king England, but yet at the same time you want to keep the King's Court. Does that make
You mean
sense?
you want rice and peas without the peas in it?
Does that make sense, Patrick?
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. I hope I'm not the controversial one here tonight.
It makes no sense across the board.
Makes no sense. You wonder what the motive is as to why they want to get rid of the head of state but keep the Privy Council. It makes you wonder why. What's the benefit to whoever? What's the reasoning behind it? What's the thinking behind it? Because as a layman like me, it makes no sense at all.
It just goes to show that we still have that slave mentality where we cannot function unless the white man is standing over us.
And I don't think you're far-fetched from that thought, Herbert, because I spoke to a respected elderly gentleman a couple of months ago about the same subject, and he did not want Jamaica to have full independence because he had no confidence that we would run the country efficiently for the benefit of all.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get through to him as to why, and could they do any worse than the way things are now? I don't understand the mentality of not having full independence. I couldn't shift it.
Well, I do not think, as young as I am, I do not think enough was done prior to 1962 for us to gain our full independence. As far as and this is my opinion, Jamaica is a dependent nation, not fully independent, a dependent nation, because no matter what happens in Jamaica, we're told to change course by the US, the EU, the UK, and Canada, right? And because of that, our judicial system has suffered, our labor market has suffered, because we are at the beck and call of overseas governments.
So we're saying that if we did go fully independent, it's going to affect the aid, the financial aid, or trade embargo, or restrictions from countries like the USA or the UK or Canada.
Yes.
As to how Jamaica can be run.
Yes.
Let me just say, David, you're about now. You're live and direct.
I'm here now.
Yes. Well, listen, let me just make an introduction. I got Patrick Morrison there. Patrick Morrison is an estate practitioner for 8 years, providing advice services to SME marketing, general public in the areas of Wales, LPAs, trust, IHT, insurance, document storage, and he's the CEO of Broker House Limited. Yeah. And I got David Chen, the man who is the taste of our culture. Straight out of the yard. Right, David?
Yes, sir.
And Caribbean connections and everything. Straight out of Crystal Palace there when we first met, innit? When we first
That's years and years ago, Silver.
years ago.
Yeah, man. We're kind of mature and more relaxed now.
not showing much foot butter when I'm doing interviews.
That's right.
and Herbert Musket of
Mushet.
Mushet, former police officer near the UK as well, you know. They're on the plantation with me as well, you know what I mean? But David, what's your point on that same issue which I flagged up there a while ago about the constitution reform and the government or Malahoo folk making the recommendation for removing the king as the head of state by having a non-executive government, but retaining the Privy Council and not the Caribbean Court of Justice? I'm moving to that.
Well, it goes again just to what Herbert just said, right? Based on our independence. And again, do we really trust our own to actually make certain decisions based on our legalities? So again, it actually boils down to our own Jamaican again. Do we trust our own to actually make certain rules and regulations? You know what I mean? So it's a very, very difficult question to ask, because based on how we are over the year, politically speaking, based on the corruption that we have within our nation. We have to be very honest again. So we have to look at it on many sides of the coin. You know, we Jamaicans, the issue again based on what happened within the diaspora, you know, yesterday in America. I mean, are we there to really support our people in the right and honest way? Not going to mention any recent cases, but you understand, based on how we are within our independence, so to speak, are we really independent enough to actually take on these responsibilities? So that's my question to it. I can't really answer to that, Silver, to be honest.
And in light of the demonstration which they had yesterday in the diaspora, or what we call it, diaspora.
Diaspora, which is what I've always said when I was in the UK, and I know that's the reason why they don't invite me to many of the events anymore, the conferences anymore, because I really throw out against that word. But that's just me. I'm very militant in a certain way. I know it can come across a bit ignorant, but it's just us really want the best for our country, really.
But so the key word that we're talking about is Jamaicans overseas.
Mm.
You know, Jamaicans overseas, they have their, as you can see, they have their issues, and many people have their grouses against the government. You know, they always say you vote out the government, you still get the government in. Issues of transparency, issues of accountability, issue of
diversity.
crime. Yeah, and they feel like they're not getting that sort of answers, so they're having that demonstration. Then they're going to have also another alternative conference again, diaspora conference on June the 16th to the 19th. You know, do we see or consider persons, our fellow Jamaicans, our brethren, as traitors, as some people are trying to allude them as traitors?
Silver, let me just try and put something to you.
Yeah.
After so many years, you return back to Jamaica. You're here, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? What's your overall view on Jamaica to what you saw?
You mean, you know, I'll be very honest, and then Patrick is going to come in on that after, because Patrick was in Jamaica just recent days. When I went to Jamaica, I was excited, happy, of course, because I've been there for a while, and leaving and going through the airport, you know, the biometrics and everything, that was spot on, no issues. You went outside the airport there, bam, bam, there's Wi-Fi. Brother came and picked us up. There was no issue, you know. Went straight to Ocherius, you know. Next morning, got up, take out my phone, walk and do my walk and talk right in the Ocherius there. No issues. I like the Bogan Villas, which I see on the side of the roads, you know, going up to the different parts. Walk up to St. Mary, which is of course the intersection of the border of St. Mary and St. Anne, and then going around, I see a lot of developments. I see a lot of developments. I see a lot of buildings going up, you know, but I cannot sort of distinguish how much the duck is paddling underneath at the same time.
That's why I've always argued, Silver, and that persons who are within the diaspora or outside of Jamaica, you can't come to Jamaica for 2 or 3 weeks and say that you know Jamaica, or you want to be a part of the diaspora, you want to be whatever it is. It's very, very sad, because again, I came home one time for 5 days from the UK, and I ended up spending 7 years, because I started investing, I started spending some serious money. And your own Jamaican people are actually there fighting, you know, nobody within government or whatever it is. In certain areas, if you don't know, man, you can't get certain things done, whatever. But you know the usual conversations. Yes. So I mean, like, overall, based on the diaspora, based on the expats or whatever we call person who are falling in love in Jamaica with Jamaica, the overall, we have to be honest with ourselves. Jamaica is, to me, I swear to God, one of the most beautiful places ever I've ever seen, ever been to. And there's so many persons coming into Jamaica right now, left, right, and center to Silver. Italians, Germans, the Russians are coming in so much, is unbelievable. You kind of find out exactly where from. And of course, the recent Indians. But I mean, like, overall, it's the development is there, but sometimes we want to find out exactly what is really happening within our communities in the UK, in the USA, in Canada, our own Jamaican communities. Are we doing good?
All right,
that's a question I would really, yeah.
All right, stick a pin right there. And thanks for Clarion Philpott, listening from Kingston. Thank you for joining. Patrick, you just came back from Jamaica. What's your take The same question David put to me.
I agree with David. It's been a number of years. Last time I was in Jamaica was 2019. I spent longer. This was a short visit just for us to get together. You can't really come to Jamaica on a short visit and fully appreciate and understand the challenges or the benefits that people have from Jamaica and how beautiful it is. I'm biased. I've traveled all around the world and I love Jamaica. It's as simple as that. My challenges with Jamaica is the cost of living for the people that are there. When I'm comparing the sterling and US dollar and actually going into a shop and buying something, and I was just amazed at how little our money was actually buying, and we came with money that we've earned and bought from the UK. And I'm thinking of people that live there that may not earn as much as we earn. So how are they surviving? I listened to your show the other night about real estate and land being bought, and I could see that as a prime area for someone like me to buy a property in Jamaica and to own a piece of Jamaica. We already have land, but I'm talking about something of my own and not family land. And I'm just thinking, okay, it sounds reasonable compared to what you can buy in the UK, but how can people there actually afford it? How can they afford a piece of land or buy a property in these gated communities or these new developments that are happening? So I think Jamaica's got so much potential. And I've said to you before, Sylbourne, on so many occasions, the most valuable asset of any country is the people and the resources of the land. If you can infuse that, raise the standard of thinking, education, whatever it is of the people, and also make full use of the natural resources you have, then you can't fail. Everybody wants a piece of Jamaica, as David said. I didn't even know Russians were that there.
On Instagram, I got Bella Del Cafe says governance versus government. He said, "Ooh, tourist Sylbourne." He said, but this is what he said: "You've seen construction, not development." You hear that, David? I saw construction, not development. And then he also said, question: removing the king as head of state, change your status as symbolic independence. What is it? It's
symbolic independence. They said the word independence comes in again.
Yeah, come back, but it's symbolic, because if you're gonna go for what do you call it, a non-executive government, a non-executive president, you're actually just saying to the governor general, come out of the house and just go back in. Same thing. No big difference. You know what I'm saying? I just the track there just giving comments from persons there. Somebody said enough construction, not the same for development. Same thing again. Enough construction, not the same for development. But I want to ask a question. But Herbert, are you still there? I don't know, Herbert. But anyhow, Rudy Page is here, my main man.
I'm here.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good
Ambassador Rudy Page.
David Chen, long time.
Long time, my brother. Greetings. Good to see you, Papa.
Greetings. Patrick.
Hold on, people. Herbert, Rudy. There's Patrick. I don't know if you know Patrick from Broker House.
I've seen him on your show before, which was
Exactly.
Yeah. Rudy, you just came in, and I guess you came in at the right point, whereby we're going to talk about why is everyone going to Jamaica, but we just tapped a bit. This is the point where we're just at, whereby is there lots of development in Jamaica? Well, the constructions, is it development or is it construction? Is it development or is it or just construction? You know, I mean, you go to Jamaica regular. What's your take on Jamaica?
At the moment, it's definitely construction. It's necessary because the infrastructure is needed. I think less than 20% of the island is actually developed. But then at the same time, at some point, it will have to focus on human development, equality, economic development, improvement in education services, improvement in healthcare. But the reality is, the way the system's managed at the moment, it is about the construction. But it will change. It will have to change.
Yeah.
Society will make it change.
Yeah.
You do mean a referendum or?
No, just so it's generational. So generational,
Yeah.
it will change. Because if you think, I started to go to Jamaica 30 something years ago, and I've got friends who started going 40 years ago. And it has been a generational shift in terms of the attitude to the development and to the, you know, the development of the society. But it will change because it has to.
Yeah. I coined tonight's topic. Let's go straight into it. Why is everyone going to Jamaica? It was while I was talking and thinking about the 250 Indians who went to Jamaica, and whatever reason, a couple of them, they had their papers or the manifesto, and they was a hoo-ha. They were downtown Kingston and they were walking around, and then they now gone back from Jamaica. But the big question came to me was, but why did they go to Jamaica? And then at the same time is, why is everybody going to Jamaica? What is it about Jamaica? Let's break it down. What is it about Jamaica? Rudy, you go first. And why is everybody going to Jamaica?
People have always gone to Jamaica. They always will.
Yeah.
But in a sense, it touches on the development. Does that translate into the development of the communities and the neighborhoods? But Jamaicans over generations have left Jamaica to go to other places around the world as well.
Yeah.
So I think there is a balance to be struck in terms of the way we speak about such things. Because, you know, our parents and grandparents had to leave somewhere in order to go somewhere else, which is what's going on now. You know, last 200 or 300, 400 years, moving people around the globe has been a major business, hasn't it? It still is.
Yeah. David, sorry, I was going to say something. Patrick?
No, I'm just laughing at what Rudy said, moving people around the globe. It's a major business. I said, yeah, it still is.
Yeah. David, we sort of started on it, but what's your take on why is, I use generic term anyhow, so why is everyone? I know it's not everyone, but why is everyone?
No, I'm gonna agree with everyone, Silburn, and I'm gonna continue where Rudy Page really started on generation. And if you remember when we were at certain age, when we heard about people returning back home to Jamaica, it were when you get start on so when you start getting pension, the pensioners, right? No, the younger generation actually going home. You see where Rudy is actually building a paradigm, a place called what would I pronounce it, Rudy?
Mesca Gardens.
Mesca Garden. Rudy is doing something in that area. To me, people, if you don't know that area, it look like Italy, it look like France, it look like Europe. Rudy, am I wrong?
Yeah, that's a great description. I never thought about it. David,
don't tell nobody. Right. Forward that to your show. Let me tell you, Rudy Page has got something in his corner, right? That is like the Europe of Jamaica. You understand? And because of the road, the landscape, the seascape, the historic view, the winding, what have you. And then when you come to our side now, further in, right? But I'm going to talk about the eastern side. That's the reason why people are coming to Jamaica. So most people now, they don't want the regular Montego Bay, Negril, Ochi. A lot of people are going eco. A lot of people are going natural. A lot of people, our age group, who have lived the big life and know what it's like to drive in a Rolls Royce or to go into first class. We don't want that no more. We want the you understand? So I mean, people are coming to Jamaica for the holistic way of living, the natural way of living. They're coming for many different reasons, but most people are not returning home because they might run from the hustle and the bustle. Right or wrong with it?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
In the neighborhood, in the communities, feeling safe, peaceful, but they also want to contribute to the development.
Exactly. Right. And again, based on that too, a lot of people actually learn about the stupid fear factor, about the gangs and the guns and the crime. And people are now realize that appear damn me, excuse my language, I'm not cursing a bad word, the damn me that them out there who are killing themselves or causing problem in communities. That is what that used to be an ignorance to or even a deterrent for people to coming in. So most people are now knowing that, you know what, you just go to Jamaica and be vigilant. Jamaica is not as warlike as people may portray it to be. However, it is very expensive to live in Jamaica. Very
Yeah.
expensive. But again, once you're seasoned in, you can know how to. Let us go buy some. I'm not getting the publicity. The chicken place, and you know what I mean. Just for 6 pieces, almost 4,000 Jamaican dollars. You understand? Which is a good £25. Yeah, you understand the equivalent. So I mean, it is still, the lifestyle is all about how you want to live, and you know what I mean. You plant up your garden, as you would have said, be part of the community, and know how to barter. Very very simple. So overall, people are learning the diversity of community development, and I don't call it inner city no more. We are developing communities.
Yeah.
You understand? And we use the right words. Once you use the right words to support each Jamaican, then we're going to lead. You can walk anywhere barefoot. You can walk. You don't even need a vehicle sometimes because it's about knowing how to get around the island, not just your community, not just your parish, Sylbourne. Sylbourne need to come out, come to Jamaica and come out of certain areas, venture out and stop talking about this Ochiman. You know, Ochiman a backside. Sorry.
Just jump on the nuts.
I don't show people. My apologies to David Chen. His mouth say anything. I don't give a.
Yeah, jump on the Knutsford Express.
Tell them again.
One of the best services. If you want to really get around Jamaica over a few days, just use the Knutsford Express. You can cover the whole island. It's on time, courtesy service, Wi-Fi. It's a brilliant way to get around the island quickly.
It's true. I agree.
Yeah, I did that.
We have Uber to Sylbourne. So when you come into Kingston, if you're not driving, same thing. You have Uber service. You know, certain areas you need to go to certain areas. Don't be stuck in your own community.
No man, I went to Hillshire and went to Kingston. And but Patrick, you just came back from Jamaica. What's your take and why you're going to Jamaica? And you know,
I went to Jamaica for family reasons, and while we were actually there, it hadn't changed as much. My family's from Mandeville area, whereas up there we travelled around a bit, hired a car. If you're trying to compare sometimes the services in Jamaica with what you get in the UK, sometimes you'll find some challenges. All right, but you learn to respect people, you learn how to deal with people, and you keep your wits about you. You have a whale of a time. My biggest challenge was the cost of living. I had no challenge with the people. I had no challenge with the services. It was just the cost of living. I was just amazed at looking at how people were surviving, and that's what really hurt me. Yeah, I don't like it when people come to Jamaica, me being one, with your English money or your Jamaican money, and you flash it around. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. You help where you can help, and you do what you can do. And you sit back and you look and you watch. And I just said, so man, that the people here are very, very resilient. If only more investment. And I listen to what Rudy's saying, because I really do hope that the building and the construction and the things that I saw going on can resonate to the local communities and uplift the people so they can have some level of ambition and achievement in their lives, so they don't want to leave Jamaica and they can build a life there. Because I think it's really important that the people that are in Jamaica, the young, the women that are coming through, being educated, they remain and they can have some progress and feel like they're achieving something and contributing to Jamaica. Because that will translate to people like me and my children or my grandchildren who I talk about Jamaica all the time, because I want them to go. When I close my eyes, I still want them to go to Jamaica. So I think that message is really important. Words we use, how we speak about it. Crime is everywhere. Crime is everywhere. I've got no personal experience, but I don't think crime in Jamaica is any worse than anywhere else. It's just how it's highlighted, how it's spoken about. And also it's such a condensed area. Yeah, Jamaicans only, 2.5 million people compared to how many people live in London, how much? 30, 40, 50 million. So, news travels fast. Certain bad information gets highlighted even more. But let's talk about the positive. Let's talk about what's being achieved. I just want the governments to instill some confidence as to the message given to the diasporas. Because we have a part to play with regards to our investment. Rudy's going to Jamaica and is investing. Investing is my big thing. It's my big thing. Invest in the people, invest in the land, invest in infrastructure. Sorry, I'm rabbiting on because I'm starting to get really passionate about it. Yeah. We need to invest in ourselves, in our young, in our people, in our infrastructure, in our area, and build up Jamaica. Then the 250 Indians wouldn't feel like they can just come and walk in and walk around and walk out. They'll think twice about doing it. And also the infrastructure will stop them from doing that. Systems are in place.
You know, one of the interesting thing is that a few years ago, there was a lot of talk about that other people are coming into Jamaica and buying up Jamaica, buying up the lands. And on of recent days, not of recent days, but you can
Without
see.
visa.
I'm sorry?
Without visa.
Oh, with a visa. And the in this diaspora conference, which is being pushed in Montego Bay, June the 16th to the 19th, they are actually having this what should I say, marketplace, where they are inviting people from the diaspora, from overseas, to come and to showcase their things, not just as before, which was Jamaicans showcasing their things. They're also talking about properties, because like Pinnacle and all these different companies have come on board to talk about investment for Jamaicans overseas to buy properties in Jamaica. What's your take about that? Because they're saying that at time, while yes, we're encouraging Jamaicans overseas and the diaspora to come in and buy properties, it is somewhat pushing away the local persons from tapping into that market there, because the prices are a bit beyond them. But at the same time, yeah, go on, Rudy. Yeah,
I'd say though, Sylbourne, I mean, in the sense you covered a lot of areas in what you've covered. First of all, our communities, the Jamaican communities who've gone abroad, have been invested in Jamaica and building houses for a number of generations. And that's been a significant contribution to the economy, the local economy, or the supply chain, as we call it now. Think of all of the goods and services that are needed to build houses. So, and that's rarely ever mentioned anyway in terms of the communities who've gone abroad. So, as was sort of touched on earlier on, it's the narrative, because there's always been major investment. David and I go back a few years and think of the people we know who built businesses up in Jamaica for generations. And probably, you mentioned about the marketplace. Again, there's lots of families who inherited land and done some good things with their land. It's just that we don't get this recognition, of course. And some of the communication that goes out is as though the descendants of the Windrush generations and before somehow need to be told to come back to Jamaica to invest, but our parents have been investing all the time, you know, for generations, you know. So there's something around the way the message is framed. I think probably what has to happen in Jamaica is more to not government, the ministries themselves. The issue is with what we call the related agencies. So the executive agencies, you know, the tourist boards, the PIOJ, Jam Pros, and those bodies, that the way we live now, that they have to, we talk about co-production.
Yeah.
They have to get used to partnering with the people who they're seeking to influence, i.e.
Exactly.
the communities and families who come from Jamaica, and they're spread around the world. And they're coming from the UK, USA, Canada, major countries. But they've got to get used to partnering with us, because as David had mentioned, there's a generational difference between us and maybe our parents and the way we get things done and can do things. But the executive agencies in Jamaica haven't adapted themselves to that. And a good example of that, and at some point they will have to over the next 18 months or so, is because the the Vision 2030 program, Jamaica 2030, it's aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah.
And the focus there is on human development, safety and security, prosperous society, healthy environment. Jamaica has 30 sector plans to deliver that overall program. And the only way they're really going to do that if they start to think co-production. So in future, and you know, it will be the near future, when diaspora, and I don't even use the word diaspora in relating to us, because we were never lost. Our parents were never lost when they left Jamaica. They came to England. Everybody knows exactly, because they then started to send money back to their families. But not only that, the families sacrificed a lot in order to send their young people abroad to improve their economic well-being and the education. So we've never been lost, you know. So
go on.
So we have to frame this discussion differently, Sylbourne. That's what I'm saying. And of course, every nation needs large infrastructure investment and going after it. And, you know, Jamaica shouldn't be any different. But as I say, we got to think about our neighborhoods, families, the communities, and things like that. Can I
just bring up the point that you raised a while ago about Vision 2030? We are now 2024, 6 years away.
Yeah.
Is the Vision 2030 something of a reasonable forecasted vision, or is it just a pipe dream now, or it should be pushed back to a certain extent?
Well, what's happening at the moment is that different countries around the world, led by universities, what they're saying now, we have to accelerate the process. So you're going to see a lot of online events around, particularly led by universities, saying that we are behind, and it needs to be accelerated. But the most important thing, if Jamaica starts to think co-production with the communities that have got the capability, UK, USA, Canada, because we have the systems in place, we can co-produce, partner with the executive agencies and improve. And there's nothing wrong with having a 5-year plan, 2025 to 2030. A lot of us can focus our minds on a 5-year plan. And most importantly is to improve from where we are now. Whether we get there or not, that's not really the point. But can we make young people's lives better, communities' lives better? Can we improve health? Can we make life, you know, more bearable for people? We can do, can't we?
Bella Del Calf, I want to just bring in a couple of the points from persons and to keep the persons on the side who are commenting. The diaspora must be a part of the conversation, especially where we have organized bodies. Diaspora is a major resource base, and people provided resources want to impact the outcome of investment. Do you see the word diaspora as a very toxic term, which is very divisive?
It's out of date. That's my point. It's out of date.
It's heavy.
And it's been weaponized. You know, as society and systems change, words can mean something else.
That's right.
If captured by different groups, and then beat everybody over the head with that word, right? But the reality is, that's why we talk about families and sustainable communities, because at the end of the day, it is about families and legacy. And Patrick, again, clearly said about the legacy, as we've come down from our parents' generation to us, to our children and grandchildren. And some of our generation are even great-grands already. One of my brothers who's younger than me, he's already a granddad.
Patrick, I want to bring you in there, Patrick, you know, in regards to like legacy, inheritance, and passing things down, you know. The diaspora, let's say diaspora, or
families.
Families.
You've got to use that word, families.
Jamaican family, that sounds better.
We're people. We're people.
Yeah.
We're not some
Branded.
400 years ago, we were objectified. We don't have to. We're not objectives. We're human, compassion, have feeling, and the families. Our families sacrifice here. When I say here, UK, US, Canada, and in the Caribbean, and we can continue to do so. We're people.
For us to be the owners.
Yeah.
For us now to be the owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that, Patrick, I don't leave it. I'm going to come back to you. But do you think there are some moves ahead to branding people around, branding diaspora, branding Jamaica brand? You know, all of a sudden, say, hang on a second.
What is brand Jamaica?
Patrick, we're gonna come back to it. We're gonna let David tell us what is brand Jamaica. Patrick, go to the point about legacy and investment, and one of the key things that you believe that Jamaicans should really tap into. Especially.
I mean, we start at a very micro level of how we manage to transfer our assets and our wealth.
Yes.
And it begins with education of our elders. It begins with education ourselves. It begins with education of the generation after us and understanding the reason why. I mean, we live in the UK. We know areas like Brixton. We know areas like Dulwich. We know areas like Battersea. You know, there are areas in Bristol, there are areas in Birmingham, and there were very heavily Caribbean-based communities. And over a period of time, due to one reason or another, it could be riot, it could be unemployment, it could be, you know, so many different factors. We have given up our assets for cash or for whatever reason and moved on. And other people have seen the value of the area that we were living in and have gone in and taken over. And all of a sudden now the prices of the property and certain areas have just skyrocketed, and that used to belong to us. That used to belong to us. So we didn't fully appreciate or realize the value, long-term value of what we had. We realized the short-term value and gain, but we didn't realize the long-term value we had. I want Jamaica not to be like a Brixton, Dulwich, or areas in London or in England or in America, which was predominantly owned or where Black Caribbean people resided, and other people have come in and taken over reggae music because we didn't realize we love it so much, but they love it more than we did. Yeah. So we're the owners of something really valuable. So let's treasure it and let's harness it, and let's keep the word family. Let's keep the word community. Let's keep the word generation. Let's show respect to our elders. Let the elders educate themselves to educate the one after them, to educate the one after them, to hold on to what you have and pass it on and throw partner with what you have to build so you can go and buy these other developments, which by yourself you cannot afford to buy. Sorry, I'm rambling on.
But that's a collaboration.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And that's what family is supposed to be about.
Cooperation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that needs to be mirrored by JamPro, by these various other organizations to engage with people who do have money and investment and want to put that money somewhere. And they want to feel secure that if this money goes into this area in Jamaica, yes, it's going to help, but they're going to see a return.
Yeah.
A safe return that they can then use again and that can be recycled in another area. So
and that's the co-production.
Yes, and that means investing in telecoms, if that means investing in water, if that means investing in electricity, if that means investing in road development, if that means investing in the ports and the harbours, the distribution of food, whatever it is, can our money be invested in that area without getting outside investment from another country, but that money is safe and secure and we can get a return back on the investment? It's a bond.
David, there's a saying that Jamaica is often referred to as brand Jamaica because it has successfully cultivated a powerful and recognizable brand image on the global stage. The branding encompasses, various aspects of Jamaica's identity, including its culture, music, cuisine, natural beauty, and spirit of resilience, cultural witness, global influence. What's your take on brand? That is what people are coming for, isn't it?
What are you reading from? What are you reading from, Sylbourne? And don't tell me say reading from the diaspora conference program.
I'm just sharing an opinion point of view, David.
No.
Is-
Anyway, listen. You sound like the Ocho man for true. But listen,
no.
Silver,
Yeah, go on.
Silver, Rudy mentioned 2030.
Yeah.
And before we even go back to all of them big words we used a while ago, to what tourist board or anybody else want to tell us about, tell the people out there. Silburn, Jamaica is a land of wood and water. I'm going to put it simple in layman's terms so everybody can understand. Jamaica is a land of wood and water. Near to where Rudy is, around the corner, you have a place called Roselle, where the water come from the rock. It still do, but a couple years ago, I now called up not the government, but them diverted the water from this to go to Kingston. So the people in the St. Thomas couldn't get water for a while. And if they never make up nice, the water wouldn't divert back to Roselle. All right. This weekend, or a couple weeks ago, in the grill, there's a serious issue based on water going to communities, inner city communities, and let's call it that way before I say developing communities.
Yes.
In majority of St. Thomas, where the road is being built, all right, fair enough, the road is being built, so we're not going to argue about that, right? But the places where literally there's no water coming to communities, right? And the people have tanks and people are registered with Water Commission, but if they register with Water Commission, we're getting some huge bills and we're not even connected to the water system. All right, Jamaica. Brand Jamaica is an international brand for the outer world. Let me just come to you now, my brother. Speaking as a foreigner. Brand Jamaica is a brand that the whole world loves. If you mention that any artist is coming, I'm going to use the one word you mentioned at one time, the word stage. Anybody who come onto the Jamaican Brand Jamaica stage become a #1 hit across the world. So Jamaica is the place whereby if you want to become big, Jamaica. Jamaica is the place if you want to come big, you have to come to Jamaica to create your brand. So I mean, there's certain spices within our culture or within our name or within our region, whereby for some reason why we just gravitate royalty for other people, not for us, unfortunately. A hotel room right now, if you go into a hotel in Montego Bay, even Kingston here, the Rock Hotel where those Indians went, at $350 a night at least. If you're going for dinner of 2, you're paying something like $400 or 300, depending on what you really want to have. So Jamaica, again, I'm going to raise that again. It is a very expensive place to be part of Brand Jamaica, but it's a place where everybody gravitates because Jamaica is a place for everybody. That's the simplest way I can say it. And everybody gravitates to Jamaica because they can come here without a visa, while we Jamaicans with a Jamaican passport need a visa to go to their places. Amen.
We need a visa. We need a visa to go to visit our king, our head of state.
Oh, okay then. I didn't want to come to that. You chat so much, man. Are you reach us so quick? I didn't want to reach us yet.
Somebody says it's shame for Jamaica to have water problem in 2024.
So it's a discriminated issue, Silver. But again, the brand Jamaica, it is so fantastic. Honestly speaking, our the best brand because once you're here, you don't want to come out. But at the same time, to live it, you got to. Wow, Jamaica nice and fun. Jamaica's love the Silver. Jamaica's the best place to be. But the demographics, the logistics. Speaking on big man term now, based on your finances, you got to have some serious money to be here. It's the facts.
To when they say to be here, I mean Jamaica is made up of nearly 3 million persons. A lot of people when they say money to be there, money to survive, or money to build and to in these construction, these developments.
If you already have family land with family title, and you understand that, okay, then you understand how to survive. Yeah. But Jamaica is a place whereby you just like how you live in the UK, you live in Jamaica to go to the UK. You know that it's a survival. You went to study, you go to your law, whatever you did. Jamaicans who live in Jamaica can do it if they have the know-how and the way out from a survival point of view. But coming into Jamaica, you do find persons who coming in with larger foreign currency, as Patrick said earlier. You know what I mean? So the finances are better, the currency is better, the exchange is different. Then of course it's a different aspect, a different investment scale.
There are two things I saw when I was in Jamaica, for argument's sake. Of course, they say you can't take a 2 weeks to sort of encompass yourself and know fully what is happening. But what I pick up though is that if people are stressed and life is tough, you can always go down on the beach. Or should I say that? Because the beach clock off now, isn't it? You know, anyhow. But you can go on the beach and relax and chill and get some
That's
nice
another
cool.
issue.
Am I right, David?
That's another issue though, but
Yeah.
all right,
And
that's another
and,
issue.
On
yeah,
the beat.
and also there was something which was very interesting was I was lying down at my house in Otrus and I hear sounds calling my name, which is Seymour. People call it a different name in Jamaica, and I hear a name and I'm saying Seymour, and I woke up and I said, that sounds so familiar. Where was I? And I was like, look, boy, what? I keep hearing Seymour, Seymour, and it was my neighbor actually said they got some mangoes and some pears.
Okay.
And it just reminds you also of the sort of living ways of Jamaicans can survive by sharing and giving,
Yeah, man,
food
that
or
community love.
community aspect. As Bella said, but what he said, he should call it. We have a problem with the word diaspora. We should call it extended family members. Maybe the panel prefers extended Jamaican family. Your extended Jamaican family or so. You know, the whole aspect of that at the same time.
Yeah, you're really focusing around the environment.
Yeah.
It is a great. I mean, there's a term I always remember, and David, you remember going back years ago when you got your ticket, you knew, and that
That
in those days
excitement.
the paper ticket, you knew, right? The term we used to say, feeling better already,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you got your ticket and you know that you're going to go. So that well-being in the environment of freedom, psychological, compared to maybe those of us who grew up in the UK and lived under some of those restrictions.
Yeah. I personally would like to see a lot more Jamaica, a lot more people from the UK particularly, I say, come to actually return home. And not only for the 2 or 3 weeks. You understand, Rudy? And is to really explore what Jamaica really have to offer. You understand? And just come and just be grounded again. You understand? Because still, no disrespect, you're coming for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It does help to actually ease out the pressure from that side, to come and really experience well, to actually have a to put your foot in the sand, as you say, but to really venture out and see the different part of Jamaica holistically. It's very, very important. Very, very important.
I agree. I should have come and see you in St. Thomas.
Not talk about me, brother. Not talk about
I should have gone to Chief Curry. I should have gone up to Maroons and all these different places. I should have, but it was like a moment for the family. It was a mother moment. It was a mother thing.
See what David's really talking about.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, what David's really talking about, and from time to time over the years, people have raised it about, especially at a certain age, spending longer in Jamaica, because in terms of health and well-being, especially once you get over that 50 mark, the challenges around the long-term health and long-term conditions. There's been so many people when they have gone back to Jamaica 2, 3, 4 months, their health, mental health and physical health is transformed in a way that it would not have done. But one of the challenges again is the services, being able to access those kind of services and be confident that people could afford it and stay out there for that longer period of time.
I mean, here in the UK, NHS is not as good as it was, but it's still a necessary service. If you fall ill, you call an ambulance. At some stage, an ambulance may come and pick you up, not like it used to be before in 2-3 minutes. But and You know, if someone falls ill in Jamaica, comparing it to how we live in the UK, are you going to get the same level of service? And that's a fear when you get older.
Yeah, that's a definite important point, Patrick. And especially now, we have a lot post-COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Even more so. But we have a lot of people 70s, 80s, 70s, 80s, mid 80s into 90s, and some of our parents 92, 94. And the reality is the healthcare needs are quite important.
Yeah, it's important. So the government or the powers that be require investment in that area. Where's that investment going to come from? Do you want an investment from Russia? Do you want an investment from India? Do you want an investment from America? And what conditions does that come with? Or can the extended families of Jamaica provide that investment? Yeah, is there a structure, an infrastructure there for that?
And that's a good point. So we're now back to the executive part of Jamaica, the executive agencies. And we have been around that kind of co-production, collaboration, the pooling of resources, insurance schemes. So there's lots of creative ways.
Now you've taken the word out.
You know,
they need to be creative in packaging something that makes it enticing for us to say, you know what, we haven't got this, but we got this, and I can live with this. You're not going to get everything, but you're going to get something that you can actually live with. And then you start to make decisions saying, I want to go for 6 months. I want to go for 12 months. Because I know if something happens, I don't have to book a ticket to come back to get things sorted. Do you know what I mean? You have to instill that confidence. That's there.
And maybe, again, it's for our generations, and it might be our children's generation.
Maybe, exactly.
Start to work it out. Actually work that out.
Right.
And not wait for somebody else to do it for us.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question? I should say to Clarence Philpott, that I did went to Trenchtown with Dr. Henry Morgan, and went into it and gave a talk there with some young guys some years ago with Dr. Henry Morgan down there in Trenchtown. David, like these big massive developments which are happening, like these hotels. There's so many hotels that are being built in Jamaica. Hotels are being built like houses or like gated communities down there. Are they building hospitals around these places as well? Are they building?
Well, I know that in Miami Bay, Miami Bay they have a private one there. I know in Iron Shore, I know they have one there. So I believe, as I say, as you have these gated communities, you have those that go off-site nurse stations. So I'd say yes. I say yes. But I can't really confirm to that based on their planning. But I say it's sensible for them to have nurses and doctors on call.
You see, I don't want a two-tier system. I don't want a system of healthcare, if we're choosing healthcare as a subject, for people who are going to come as returnees or extended families, and then you've got a different health system for the people that live in the community that may not have access to that gated health care system. I don't want that.
The private services, right?
Yeah. I want a health care system that everyone can have access to, because if everyone of our families have access to it, then everyone benefits. And that means that further development and investment and creativity can be expanded in so many other areas.
Yeah. But again, Patrick, that's something that we can't really stop there, isn't it? Because if you know that you can afford certain things, then of course you're going to go for that. It's like an aircraft. It's like an aircraft. You have economy, club class, world class. You understand? First class. So it's a give and take situation.
Yeah, it's kind of how Sylbourne framed the question, though.
Yeah.
Because one of the challenges, I think, especially our generation, we don't have to frame contention in society. So the building of, tourism sector framed against the good of the
community is different.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Because
different, Sylbourne.
if you do that, if we do that all the time, it just creates a contention
Right.
all the time. And going back to Patrick's point, it is about accessibility, because we've already said that we want good development in our communities, jobs, and we're used to having a service for education, health that's accessible to all in the best possible way. Obviously, there are differences, but the Patrick's point is about the accessibility for society as a whole, not few people just because you
Which
can
makes
afford
sense.
it. Because otherwise, when we get into that kind of contention, so who's going to work in those businesses? Who's going to work in those organisations? It's the same people, our families, who will be expected to work in them. And are they going to get a fair employment and opportunities to advance?
Do you see for argument's sake, the extended family, that generation which came in the Windrush period, and they are passing on now? The next third, fourth generation of them are seeing Jamaica as authentic, as a sort of vacation hub. They are not the ones which are pushing a lot of money into Jamaica as before.
Well, what I always say when I hear that sort of argument, I always say, think of an escalator. So at some point, we're all at the bottom of the escalator, right? And as we travel up, going through our experiences, we somehow believe that, we're better than those who are before us, right? And the ones behind us are not going to do anything because, because we know everything. And then, but the reality is, and David, we know we've been around the block a few times, there's been generations of people leaving Jamaica and going back. Yes. And they're still going to do that. So after we've got to the top of the escalator, there'll be others at the bottom of the escalator coming up. Because I remember when we were at the bottom of the escalator, people were saying to me, "Oh, nobody's going to go to Jamaica again."
True.
And you're right, Rudy, because right now there are lots of recruitment of teachers, of nurses, and all these persons leaving Jamaica. And of course, they're starting the cycle all over again.
Exactly, they're going to come back,
and some of them are first generation Jamaicans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're going to get skills because, again, and we've touched on it. The cost of living is so high, and if you've got the strength, the moral fibre in you to go abroad and work, well, that's what our parents did and our grandparents did.
Exactly.
So it's the same escalator.
It's a cycle,
so
right?
I'm always wondering why. And then they come back, as we have done and our parents have done, and invested back in the economy and made the country better than what it was for a mass of people.
Where do you see the government? And okay, one of the things I always say all the while is that you vote out the government, but you still get the government in. You vote out PMP, you get GLP, you get the government in a way. Do you see policies of government doing what should I say, can make big fundamental differences? Some people just live their life, whatever government comes in, and just go through same way. Or sometimes there's a sort of emphasis that the government need to make it right or need to make it better. David, before I go to Rudy, David, in Jamaica.
Well, you know what, Sylbourne, it all depends, and you hit the nail on the head. It is that some people are really partisans. They really sit to this party. Just like you, I know that you're a Crystal Palace supporter, and I don't care what happens in the media. You're going to support it. So some people, like I take politics as a joke here, no disrespect, because if you rely on politics to put food on your table, then you're going to be caught up with politics all the time. So I don't really watch politics. JLP, PNP, I know some people say PNP is for the poor people, JLP is a whole load of what have you. I don't know. I don't really care. But at the same time, as a people person or someone who's really fighting for Jamaica, voicing for Jamaica, as you know, is that our aim is to really get the best for Jamaica and for Jamaicans. So regardless, one of them going to win anyway. No disrespect. You know what I mean? And all we have to do now is to find the right people, which we don't know if corruption will ever come out of our politics, to actually represent us. So Sylbourne politics is a situation whereby we don't know. You know what I mean? We just hope that whoever get voted in, we continue doing what we know is the right thing with integrity, and we continue supporting the community and make the community develop. Right now, where I live, one side of the road is fixed, and the other side down the bottom is not fixed because it's political interest. You know what I mean? And that it always happens. This person have water and that person don't have water because it's political interest. That person have street light and that person have the street light because it's political interest. So what do you do? So I mean, we just live and continue doing what we can do as a community as much as we can, you know, and let the diaspora, push forward to let it be a community interest, not just a political interest, or you're going to own 10 shops and 10 real estate, or you're going to do better than that person and the other person. That's our issue. That's our biggest problem in Jamaica, is that we're not united, unfortunately.
Rudy. Oh, Herbert.
Yeah.
Rudy.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what David said there. And for me, it's that focus again. Politics and governments, they're there, but we've got other people serving the community, civil servants, civil society, education, health, the communities themselves. And that to me, in the community interest for the well-being of everybody, that's where the focus should be, and the more collaboration that we can encourage and working together, the better.
Exactly.
Especially in education and the support of young people, their development, so that you have an improvement for successive generations. And of course, that it has improved overall for successive generations because people before us have sacrificed, and there are people sacrificing to improve things for people. So we can't get away from that.
Albert?
Yeah, I've been listening to everything that is being said, and I will always say this: the mindset of people in Jamaica need a radical change, right? Where the people from the 60s, 50s, 60s, the Windrush generation came to this country or America, wherever, worked and looked after their children. They call them barrel children, right? This present generation want the same people to remain overseas and take care of them. And that, to me, is a recipe for disaster. You ain't going to school, you ain't working, you just want to wear the latest clocks, the latest this, the latest iPhone. So how do we expect Jamaica to remain viable, relevant? How do we expect Jamaica to be a place where people want to go back and live when we look at the news, returning residents being killed, returning residents being murdered because they didn't supply their needs? So from a law enforcement standpoint, it is all well and good that people are showing up in Jamaica from everywhere in the world. But are we taking their security into consideration? Are we looking after their well-being? Where whenever they touch down, there's someone at the airport looking to see who is coming in, call their operatives to carry out a murder or a robbery or something. We have to take all this into consideration before we can encourage people to come back to Jamaica.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Herbert. Patrick, if I on that point there regarding encouraging people to come back to Jamaica, are we saying that, or am I hearing from Herbert that there's some sort of stall or there's something more that needs to be done to encourage people to come to Jamaica, or we should just say everyone come on yard, come and taste the brand.
I've listened to what Herbert said, and I've
Yeah.
listened to what everyone has said, and especially the politics and the two-sided government system. You're not gonna. It's like anything in life. You're not gonna be able to do business with everybody, all right? But there are going to be people you can do business with. You're not going to satisfy everybody, but there are people you can satisfy. So influence where you can influence, satisfy and work with what you have. Okay. The security in Jamaica can be challenging. That if you have the mindset, like Herbert said, to manage your affairs and be careful about what you're doing and how you do it, you will be fine.
Yeah.
You will be fine. I'm not saying that incidents don't happen and people have suffered. They do. Incidents happen all over the world and people suffer all over the world. Economics, political parties, and people who have influence are the people or the organizations that will make the changes that will happen for the benefit of all. And I firmly believe that. How we get there, that needs to be worked on. That needs to be created. That needs to be looked at. And it's not a quick fix, but it's something that is definitely doable.
Yeah. David, should we say everybody just come to Jamaica? Just run, come?
Or if you have the same visa rights like you do, yeah, definitely. But everybody come to Jamaica, come experience Jamaica, yes.
Yeah.
But don't come with cleanness, don't come and disrespect our culture. Don't come and disrespect our traditional values.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There are certain things that we need to uphold. There are certain things that's not really going right within certain cultural values that we have to admit to. But yeah, of course, we want everybody to come to Jamaica. But at the same time, we also want the same privilege for our Jamaicans to go and explore the world too, Silver. And these are things that we need to also debate on. The discrimination based on our CARICOM passport. A lot of people can come here, but certain Jamaicans even want to go and explore. I think there's too much of a free-handed opportunity for others who can actually just come here just like that. But we want everybody to come to Jamaica, just like how we want to go and visit everybody else's place.
David, tell us about Taste of Our Culture in our last moments. Tell us about Taste of Our Culture and what you're doing in Jamaica and your property. Just go for it.
A Taste of Our Culture Stillburn started out back in the days from your time with FFBJ, Voicing for Jamaica. When we said that we were voicing for Jamaica, trying to work better for Jamaicans, working together for a better Jamaica. Then we moved on to something called the Caribbean Connection, then the African Caribbean Connection. Rudy remember back in the days of Ben TV.
Yes.
And then working with a guy called Levi Roots. I don't know if people know Levi Roots. Then where the food came in and the culture came in.
Lot of mercy.
A lot of mercy, reggae sauce. And then we said, let us expand on something called A Taste of Our Culture. And that is where we are. So I returning home now. A Taste of Our Culture is really a brand for really our platform with knowledge of I being the brainchild and also working alongside other persons across the world who have got a passionate interest in Jamaica culture. So we are here now. We offer services from transportation, more from a hospitality service, a tailor-made hospitality service to support those who want to come into Jamaica. So we have accommodations, we have properties, so it's more like a service provider for those who want to know more about the culture of Jamaica. Simple.
Yeah, that's awesome. And of course, we always bringing in different stars, different reggae artists, and all those sort of things. Aicho Candy.
So we are all stars, brother.
Listen, you need to link me with Aicho Candy, because that's my favorite tune.
So I'm gonna do this song for you. I'm gonna listen to this song for you.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Send a message later on. I'll do this song for you.
Yeah, man. Aicho Candy, man.
Yeah.
Patrick, let's talk about Broker House and your business there. I just want to as we're on our final lip, just talk about your contribution and your service. Yeah.
So Broker House is a business company, which is me, that specializes in estate planning. So I provide a service to the general public where wills, lasting power of attorneys, trust, inheritance tax planning, probate, which is really big at the moment, protection insurance, document storage. I incorporate all of that knowledge because most of my clients are from our community. They look like me. They look like me and you. They talk like me and you. They could be from the Africa continent. They could be from the West Indies. And it's about educating them about generational wealth, purely and simple for me. Yeah. What Aunt, Grandma Enid had, she passes on to a niece or a nephew. Niece and nephew then has that, and it passes on and it passes on. So the key is to hold on to it and to pass it on, but to build on that. You don't just hold it and just pass it. You use it as leverage to build, to create something. And then what you've built and you've created, you then pass it on to the next generation. When I do speaking engagements and ask people who has ever benefited from inheritance, not a lot of people put their hands up. A different audience and ask that question, half the room are putting their hands up. So you know where their wealth is coming from. Yeah, we can only work so many hours a day for so long. When we're nearing the end of time and Father Time will catch all of us, we want to be sure and feel comfortable that yes, we've done the best we can in our life. We're enjoying what we can, but then we want to pass it on. We need to pass it on because if you don't pass it on, the government's going to take it. Simple. Yeah, and if you pass it on, then you want to pass it on to a next generation that's ready to take the baton and take it to the next level. And that's the key to generational wealth. So the key is not just the passing, but the passing of the knowledge, the reasons why, how, the benefits of that. And then the knowledge increases and increases and increases. And then people can disseminate that wealth in so many different areas. And that's the key. The knowledge, the experience, and the assets get transferred. That's why I have a name like the Rothschilds.
And do you see like the work that you're doing reaches out to Jamaica or like Jamaican?
I see tremendous work with the people that I work with, and there's a lot more people like me out there doing what they're doing. Yeah, there could be pension advisors, mortgage specialists, commercial mortgage specialists, all different kinds of investors and people that specialize in these areas. But collaboratively, providing that service educates our people how to manage what they have. Yeah. If it's not your wealth, if it's not your health, it's your wealth. It's something of value that you need to cultivate and pass it on. It does not rest there, and that's what Jamaica needs. That's what we need as people.
Fantastic. Thanks for that. And Rudy, the man, I was gonna say the man that coined the Afro Hair Show, but you have no hair, man.
Not anymore. Not anymore. But as I always say, Silver, bald is a hairstyle. Right? It's a hairstyle. Ironic, isn't it? Bald is a hairstyle. But yeah, interesting in terms of what David and Patrick have said. It kind of encompasses a lot of work that I'm doing in Jamaica at the moment. So major work in St. Thomas in terms of community economic development. And we have a bigger steering group called the St. Thomas Cultural Heritage Steering Group. It takes in communities Albion, Bowden, Islington, Landui, which is the spiritual heart of the program, Ramble, Stony Guts, and Yallas, and Three Finger Jack. And what we're doing there at the moment, there's going to be a big community cook up and clean up of the village hall and community park. It was actually opened 83 years ago by former Prime Minister Norman Manley. So that's going to be a significant community development opportunity. There's going to be vocational skills and learning culture. We're going to bring back the football field, sports and culture is connected into the local schools. Also, as part of this wider Windrush Anchor education program I've been involved in, we did the national committee for Windrush last year, various agencies. So we've got Augusttown, big community development program in Augusttown, and again, sports, culture, youth development, community. So we're very busy around Jamaica at the moment, and they intend to be for some while to come.
And what's the latest regarding the compensation for Windrush?
In terms of the Windrush compensation scheme,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a complex issue. There are people who have been paid out, but what we do know, not enough people yet have come forward for various reasons. One is to do with awareness and understanding. No, I wouldn't say awareness. A lot of people are aware of it, but they don't understand. And people are still fearful as well. And there has been an impact on the third generation or fourth generation in terms of their status. And so there's still some work to be done. And of course, even though the scheme is open to the wider Commonwealth communities as well now, countries, but still, when you look down the list, the majority of those who've been impacted are from Jamaica, which of course is the largest sort of Caribbean group who went to the UK. So that's going to be with us for some while.
Yes.
It's going to, generationally, it will be with us, because if somebody who came up on their parents' passport and then they had challenges around their status, that has gone generationally down.
Wow.
And there's a lot of different restrictions. So if for whatever reason you lose your British citizenship for whatever reason, then that does have an impact on your children and grandchildren. So it's a complex picture. So it'll be with us for a while.
Well. Finally, as they say, all roads lead to Jamaica. Why is everyone going to Jamaica? There are 10 points why they said everyone should come to the diaspora the extended family conference.
You got to get used to move that word.
Yeah,
the D word out of
Are you going to the diaspora conference, Rudy?
I won't be there, but again, all ideas must contend. David touched on it. We've got all different people, different ideas, and we can have difference of opinion, but we must respect everybody, regardless.
Thank
You
you.
might not agree, and we can't paint everybody with the same brush, because there's good people. So.
And Rudy, I use your word, which you use all the while. All ideas must content, all voices must content, and everyone
must be heard.
Yeah, and I did a video to that extent to say that there's actually no competition. There's actually no competition. Voices need to be heard, and they need to have some discussion with the stakeholders, because at the end of the day, they gave me a joke. Someone called me and said, actually, when they had that demonstration going on, 8 Jamaicans were actually opposing it, and I'm saying, and then they said a consular general or whatever from the High Commission or whatever walked past them and didn't say hi, and I'm saying they are missing the point. I'm trying to say it's a voice, that's just my thinking.
Sylbourne, as you say that, I'm always saying to people, why did Jamaica have the greatest relay 400-meter relay team in the world at one point? Why? Teamwork, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Those first 3 runners won the race. Usain just had to carry it over.
That's right.
Teamwork, work together, and make it better.
Yeah.
what is it?
Work
Teamwork makes
together.
it lighter, or something like that. Makes things lighter, or something like that. When you work together, you know.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork make the dream work. And
Right.
You know, all four of them don't have the same opinion and anything, but they knew when the time comes for action and to win, work as a team.
They're running for a cause.
Yeah, that's why Manchester United is the greatest team of all time.
Oh, Rudy.
Maybe not at the moment.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go.
I actually support Chelsea. I don't know where David got Crystal Palace from.
What's wrong with Arsenal? There's only one red team here.
Oh, brothers. Yeah, man. Was a good show, guys.
Yeah, somebody I just pop up this point here. I don't know what this is. Why is Kenyan YouTuber running smear campaign on Jamaica? That's what I really want to know. I tell you what, we are not running any smear campaign on Jamaica. We are bigging up Jamaica. So let's. you know something? Something I realized. I realized this. This is what I realized. There's always some people post something on social media and says, why the mainstream is not talking about this. And I'm saying, no, you talk about it.
Yeah.
You talk about it and you share it, because mainstream has actually changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we are mainstream. We are mainstream.
We are the mainstream.
We weren't straight. Not when we were growing up, when there was 2 channels.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not black and white TV no more. The phone.
Exactly. Or the big, I used to be remote controlled for my parents, and I mean, but the point about it is simply that the time and the effort to actually say why they're not doing this, you do it. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? And I always talk about, even when people share things sometimes. The other week, somebody sent me a message and saying some big thing happened. And I said, Bridget, I have no idea who you are, what you are, I can't verify it, And I just shut it down. You can actually take things and give it legs.
Sylbourne, we could do a talk in the future. And some of the work we do with community groups in London, particularly in Haringey, North London area, and we say the price of community empowerment is collective responsibility. Yes. It is about us and what we do for ourselves.
And if you don't network, you don't get work.
Yeah.
we have to understand that mobile phones in some people's hands are just like the firearms in some people's hands.
Yeah. Exactly. They call it what? What they call it? Keyboard warriors.
Yeah. They hide behind the keyboard. That's quite misinformation.
Well, listen, guys, I want to thank you so much. I like these sort of discussions because it's very uplifting and very powerful and enlightening, and it stimulated the extended family members from.
David, just to say that in St. Thomas, our overall program, we call it Arise St. Thomas. So I'm going to call you and we can discuss it. I'd love you to be involved.
I'm involved with it. Anything you tell me, I'm involved, my brother. You know that.
Great, yeah.
Yes.
Right. Be in touch.
David, thanks for the short notice for coming on as well.
Anything you tell me, Sylbourne, I'm involved. I'm the guy put you in the chair, so I've got to listen to you.
But let me tell you, David is the first man that put me in that chair to the interview.
Really?
Ben TV, yeah, man. David, give me the break, man. And David always said,
all that you've achieved. Have you done any transfers to him?
David always says, Sylbourne, you owe me now. How much minutes we got? How much minutes talk?
Don't worry, Sylbourne, I'm checking.
And then one of our interviews we did, I think I crossed my leg and my foot bottom was, and David always said, Virgin, you can't show your foot bottom.
Oh dear.
Oh man.
But those are the days in
those are the days, brother.
Yeah, we all have to learn.
We have to learn.
It's a blessing, guys. Enough respect, right?
Much respect.
Thank you.
All the best.
Have a great week, everyone.
Peace, Rudy. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Cheers. Thank you.
Nice.
Bye-bye. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for this great discussion that we had. For those on Instagram, thank you so much for coming on, and for those also, let me see on Instagram. Yep, Shida, hey, Anidam, hi, how are you? Hi. Thank you so much for coming on, and for those on TikTok as well, Graham, thank you for your comments as well. Great job, you've gone live. Okay, yeah. Thanks for that. China, you're talking about China there, and on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Clarion Phillips, thank you. We keep the link. Send you a friend message, friend request. Usain Bolt prowess made a unique difference back then. We would have lost most of the race without him. Uptown Kingston, thank you so much. Vita, big up, and Bella Calf as well. Thank you so much. Remember to like and subscribe and to share the show. Tomorrow night, I think I should be having. Oh, I need to confirm it. I think I should be having Miss Jeanette Calder. Jeanette Calder is from JAMP, the Jamaica Measurement Portal, to talk about transparency and accountability in government, and to touch on some bits and pieces about how these bits are measured. We're supposed to come on possible 9 o'clock, but I'm not too sure. She was supposed to come back to me to confirm certain things, if it's possible, but it may be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock tomorrow night. I'll let you know. Otherwise than that, next week, Sunday night, I'll be having Mr. Courtney Campbell. Courtney Campbell, I'm the president and CEO of Victoria Mutual. All being well, touch wood. We're going to talk about the Diaspora Conference, yes, on the 16th to the 19th, as Victoria Mutual is the chair and leading the charge for that conference. And I was at the Diaspora launch just recently in Jamaica as well. So hopefully, all being well, we'll be having Mr. Courtney Campbell supporting Victoria Mutual as much as possible. Make sure you support Victoria Mutual as well. All right. So all the best, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good night, and God bless you. Peace out. Bye-bye.